I saw a business recently offering days off on birthdays, and we've got 4-day work weeks. There's all these different things. Maybe bring a dog to work day, I'm not sure. Things that people are trying to do to make them the employer of choice. But I have some problems with that. Perhaps, maybe there's people at your work that actually don't like dogs. So why does everyone else bring a dog? Maybe the person who you're just told to stay home on their birthday actually hates being at home and doesn't want a day off on their birthday. They come to work to get away from their miserable family, and you've just punished them by sending them home for a day.
Welcome to the Business Bloke podcast. Growing your business doesn't have to be hard. I am your host, Andrew Savage, a business and mindset coach with plenty of leadership tools and strategies to help you grow your life and business. Give yourself permission to get curious, lean in, and enjoy this episode.
Hey, this is the 5th and 6th series of how to strategize your business, and this one is about overheads, but more specifically, getting a return on your wage investment. Most businesses, wages would be one of the biggest costs to their business and most challenging. Sometimes it's energy, but wages are quite difficult. Or maybe even if you're a solopreneur, how do you pay yourself? Well, in episode 1, we talked about creating a compelling mission for your business. And that's all about inviting your staff into a story. And inviting your staff into a story means that they have a reason when they get out of bed in the morning to come to work. That's quite a powerful way to increase productivity and get a better return on your wage. What I've noticed lately, the more businesses and business people that I talk to and staff, people are stuck. And people are really struggling to figure out what it is that they truly want to be doing in life. They have a lack of goals. They really don't know what makes them tick or what they want to be doing. And this costs us, right, in productivity, because if people are coming to work with no sense of direction or not really knowing what they want to do or why they're doing it, then it is costing us in productivity. The traditional way of getting staff more productive is KPIs and goals, all those types of performance indicators. And I just wonder if those days have sort of died a little bit after COVID. I saw a business recently offering days off on birthdays, and we've got 4-day work weeks. There's all these different things. Maybe bring a dog to work day, I'm not sure. Things that people are trying to do to make them the employer of choice. But I have some problems with that. Perhaps, maybe there's people at your work that actually don't like dogs. So why does everyone else bring a dog? Maybe the person who you're just told to stay home on their birthday actually hates being at home and doesn't want a day off on their birthday. They come to work to get away from their miserable family, and you've just punished them by sending them home for a day. I'm not sure. KPIs, they're pretty sterile, but some people will thrive on that. Where I'm heading with this is everyone has their own values and everyone has their own thing that they hold high in their values. So for instance, someone who holds contribution very highly, they potentially might come to work early and might leave late, and the other people that just go the extra mile. Or they may actually be that person that leaves work early because they actually get their value of contribution by contributing to their community. So they go out to a brass band. I play in a band, or maybe they're on all these associations and committees and that type of thing. So maybe it's connection. People come to work for connection, potentially. That's something that they hold really high. But people have different ways that they fulfill these values. So really, you need to get curious about your staff, what their values are, and maybe how they actually meet those values. Because those things that you're doing to become employer of choice may actually be having the opposite effect. Anyway, that's enough about the soft stuff. Really, it's about also systematizing, because that's what this series is all about. Systematizing to get the best return from your wage investment is really communication. Regular staff meetings, depending on how big your organization is, but a good idea is an all-staff meeting once a week or once a fortnight, but basically lock in that all-staff meeting for a regular occurrence, and then break your business up into bits and pieces. So there may be different leadership groups within your company. The business that we own has 2 distinct sections, so I've split them into 2, and we catch up separately to all staff. And I also have leadership meetings that I can disclose sort of more intricate financial details and things that potentially the whole staff doesn't need to know. But what having some sort of meeting framework and communication framework, so I have all of those different groups in WhatsApp groups, actually helps beat the overwhelm as well. You walk into a workplace and you're not answering the same question 8 times, because that's what can happen. So you only need to answer that question once, and that can filter on through to the staff. And encourage your staff to have their own meetings as well without you. Potentially as a leader, you could just come to the all-staff meeting, and then the leaders of each group can run their own meetings. But it's about having a structure for the meetings or the types of meetings there are, and then have a structure for those meetings themselves. You don't want it to just be idle chit-chat. So what's happened last week? What's happening this week? Who's doing what? Then people are crystal clear about what their role is for the day. Quarterly catch-ups, and I love to work quarterly calibrations. Catching up with your staff one-on-one every quarter, see how they're traveling, what are their problems, what's happening at home, anything that might be distracting them, how can you support them? So systematize your staff and your makeup. And if it's yourself, you're a solopreneur, then you can actually do this just for yourself as well. Check in with yourself and see how you're traveling compared to what your goals were. So the other thing about a mission statement is, if you haven't listened to it, go back and have a listen to Taking Your Business on a Mission. We talked about the key characteristics and the critical actions that you would take to achieve your mission. They are really good in a staff meeting or performance review. At the start of these meetings, remind people of what that mission was. Hey, this quarter, we said we were going to X, Y, Z. They are our economic objectives, and these are the things we said we would do to get to them. And if one of those things is turning up to work on time, or maybe it was a soft skill of integrity or respect or something like that, if you see those standards, key characteristics, or critical actions slipping from that mission statement, then you can actually bring that up at these meetings and just remind them of what the mission was and how they were going to go about it. Also in those meetings, really critical to see what it is that is burning people's time and burning your time. I've got a mate who was part of developing a program called Nobi, and Nobi is basically a system that you can scan a QR code and it gives you step-by-step instructions. It came about because he was sick of answering 20 text messages a day or phone calls with the same question. Hey, boss, this irrigation pump needs starting. How do I start it? And then 3 or 4 hours later, someone else goes to start the pump, rings him, asks the same question. Someone else the next morning, I can't quite get to bleed this pump. How do I get it working? Same thing. So he created a QR code that he sticks on that pump. Whoever's at the pump scans the code and the details are on their phone. I would advise anyone to review a day, go through your call log and your messages log. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, again, this stupid bloody phone, I want to throw it away. Actually look at any repeat phone calls you've had for that day or that week. How many times has that person rung you and what are they ringing you about? Or even as you're going through your day, just make a note in notes on your phone or something like that to figure out how many times you're actually answering the same question, potentially for the same system. So can you actually systematize your business to help prevent you the burnout at all? I'd recommend going and having a look at Nobi. It's a pretty cool tool. So in a nutshell, that's about it really. It's about systematizing how you communicate with your staff and then digging deep into what you're burning bandwidth on, but really thinking about how you can get the best return on that wage investment. Of course, your business is unique. You're going to have other ways that you can help reduce operations and overheads. But next episode, I'm going to very briefly talk about cash flow and how we structure our cash. So that'll be awesome. You can catch up with me on LinkedIn. I'm Andrew Savage, or TheBusinessBloke on Instagram. I hope you've got some food for thought out of this episode. and we'll catch you shortly.
If you've got this far, you've reached the end of the episode, or you've left your car running. I really hope you got something out of this episode of the Business Bloke podcast, and maybe you've got something to take away to apply to your own business. I'm a pretty friendly bloke, so you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, just look up Andrew Savage, or on Instagram, the handle is TheBusinessBloke. Thanks for listening, reach out, and we'll catch up with you soon. Good one. Cheers.